doesn't seem like it would be disruptive. Post would go out. And I mentioned it to Roger. But no one had asked for it. I thought I would mention it to you. No, I'm not technically.
Hey, what's up, man?
Come on out there in the morning field.
Oh, man. Oh, just
Great idea.
situation.
Who would we send to investigate?
Well, they have to, I don't know about, well,
On my boat yet. Waiting to get out there. Yeah, these tides have been pretty radical, man.
it's worth exploring to see.
Radical tides. You know, but, no, it's falling though. I mean, between the,
Nobody had asked.
this morning.
Well, nobody's ever brought it up to
It's a
us.
great idea, it sounds like. You ought to check it out.
The adjustments going on
Evidently he
digitally
needs somebody,
to,
some official channel.
the words.
Why don't,
getting out. We're
why
starting
don't you
to
bring
get
that
a lot
up
of new
at
faces
our
coming in,
members' items?
And then a lot of older
Okay.
faces.
Okay.
I don't know how you doing it.
I
Discussion.
was just chatting with Kathy about the boat lift at Virginia.
Oh, yeah.
Game and he was on TV. It was great.
Yeah.
Okay, we're ready.
It is 9 o'clock. Are we live and all of that? Okay. Pledge of allegiance. I call it to order. Pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call. We're all here except Bob is excused.
He requested an excuse.
Requested an excuse absent.
The committee has to determine.
We in favor of giving Bob do we have to vote on that, or how is that happening
It
now?
wouldn't hurt to formalize it.
Right, because that's kind of new for us then. I've never done that before, but that's okay.
Sam Lurie, I move that we accept Bob Beasley's excused absence. Second.
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Public comment? Any public comment at this time? Approval of minutes, it should be from November 18th, 2020. A motion to approve the minutes from November 18th.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Doug made a motion to approve the minutes. Is there a second?
Second. Sam.
Ratliff?
Bye, Mike.
Or- All in favor?
Aye.
Mooring Field and staff report.
Austin Gilchrist, Fort Myers Beach Harbor Master for the record. Pump outs are scheduled, still flowing. We're doing about 25 pump outs weekly. 6 of those vessels, I would say, are pretty routine that aren't in the field. So on the in the Anchorage and also marinas. We removed a dinghy from the dock that had sank. Turned it over to Lee County Sheriff's Department. They ran it and they took the vessel. What came back on it. Lee County Sheriff's Department, we made contact with them about the derelict vessels. They have 4 vessels planned for removal this week, and I believe next week or after New Year's they have 4 more scheduled for removal as far as the derelict vessels are. I've been trying to address the boats anchoring outside of the channel, outside of the Coast Guard station. Made contact with the Coast Guard and asked them their procedures on monitoring that area. I was told they don't have any procedures for it, so there's nothing really going on from the Coast Guard with it. I have documented the vessels that are out of compliance with the channel, so I'm just trying to progress in that and see what it takes to have that area more enforced. Other than that, that's about it on the mooring field. Chelsea, you got anything?
So we did get word last week, or maybe two, I don't know, all the weeks are together at this point. Moonraker, the vessel that the town has a suit against, broke free out of the field. It is now, Austin, where's it anchored at?
The current position of Moonraker is right out back of Bay Oaks facility there. Yeah, like Chelsea said, it has broken loose and it was adrift for about a week. We've gotten multiple calls about it. The Coast Guard's gotten multiple calls about it. Lee County Sheriff's Department has also gotten multiple calls about it.
And FWC.
And FWC. Nobody has boarded that vessel or has done anything to secure it until yesterday. Lee County Sheriff's Department came out and secured it into the sandbar that it's pretty much listed up on now. It is at about a 45-degree list fully onto the sandbar at this time. Lee County Sheriff's Department, they assured me that they've anchored it for it shouldn't be breaking loose and going anywhere. But it is continuing to be monitored by all agencies.
And I believe the conversation I had with the lieutenant was that they were pursuing it potentially as a derelict vessel. We're still pursuing the 3, Riker being one of the 3, for delinquency for outstanding funds owed to the town through our town attorney. So those suits have been or are being pursued.
Anything else?
I have a question for Austin, or maybe perhaps for both of you. In reference to the dinghy that was removed, is that a dinghy belonging to someone in the field or someone of the general public?
Nobody's yet to claim that dinghy. We haven't had any identification of who it belongs to yet. That case has been turned over to the Sheriff's Department. So anybody referencing that dinghy will be turned over to the Sheriff's Department.
The reason I ask, we've gone over this before, I still think there are some valid reasons for identifying dinghies which are related directly to boats which are in the mooring field. Because personally, that dinghy belongs to whereas I fully realize it's a public facility. If it belongs to someone who's anchored out, who simply left it there and then departed for places unknown, I'd like to know that. I think we should know that is a better way for me to say that. So that was the root of my question.
Okay. Our current procedure is you cannot use that dinghy dock unless you are registered with the town of Fort Myers Beach. It doesn't matter if it's a motorized vessel or a non-motorized vessel. In order to use that dock, you have to go into Matanzas and fill out a registration, and you will receive a sticker. That correlates with who you are and what's going on with that dinghy. The purpose behind that was just for identification reasons. When a dinghy is left at that dock and it does sink like this, then we are able to identify it. Right. This person in particular, though, they were there for that time, and they just left the dinghy, never registered it, and left. So, to answer the question, yeah, we do have a procedure in place that should cover that. That is if the patron does follow the steps that they are required to take to utilize the dinghy dock. Now, upon our inspections, if we come across a unregistered vessel, we will tag it with removal, which the town has removal, and we do have a ordinance in the book that covers us for removal of that vessel.
So, bottom line is that unless a person is willing to come into the office and register, they can pretty well come up and use that facility.
They can, so alternatively, instead of physically going to the office, on the town website under mooring field is the permit form that they can fill out. They would just have to collect the actual sticker from Matanzas. But filling out paperwork, standing in the office is beyond that.
Right. So, let's say I come into the Anchorage, not into the mooring field, I'm anchored out, and I choose to come to the dinghy dock. It is then completely upon me, in one form or another, to let you know that that dinghy is not associated directly with the mooring field.
The only way to figure that out is to run the FL numbers on the dinghy itself, and then do that. But
we have signage at the dinghy dock indicating that any dinghy should be registered.
We have signage stating that all dinghies must be registered in order to use the dinghy dock.
The instructions.
I believe, yeah, we have
Where to go and
a pull
what to
board
do.
down there and everything.
Okay.
I'll go down there and review it, but I'm pretty sure it's still up there, yeah.
Need it free of charge. There is no charge for this decal. I want to make that very clear. It's part of it is just a registration for, like Austin said, in the event something happens, we can get in contact with the property owner, the dinghy owner, or anybody that would be involved in whatever incident may occur.
Yes, and it does fall on the due diligence of the patron to go ahead with the procedure.
Anything on the sign that says failure to do so?
No, but I'm
Be
pretty sure,
removal or
yeah.
something.
We'll follow up on the signage and make sure I know we've done some revamping and trying to bring in the new brand, so we'll make sure it's clear.
One more question for Austin concerning the anchoring outside the channel. Are those the boats to the north side that you're speaking of?
Yeah, the federal channel is what we were concerned about. And the conversation I had with the Coast Guard was coming up to the influx of issues that we are having and the lack of enforcement that's going on. I think that those go hand in hand with what's going on out there. It's just more problems are occurring because of the lack of enforcement going on.
Well, I guess my question is, and this just goes back having attended a court case several years ago in Marco Island, are those boats legally anchored?
It depends on, I guess, who you ask.
Well, that's part of the question, obviously. It always happens. A few years back, Marco Island attempted to stop people from anchoring with all sorts of local ordinances, and there's always this sort of discussion between federal waters, and it's always my understanding if I am free to anchor in federal waters anywhere,
As long as you're outside of the channel, that's correct.
Right,
But you
so if
still
they're
have
not
to-
impinging on navigation, well, we don't really have any jurisdiction over them.
There's ordinances on the books already, and like I said, it comes down to enforcement. But you're correct about the anchoring within itself. The vessels that concern me are the ones that swing outside of the Anchorage area and into the channel itself. Not only that, the monitorization of the MSD system, safety checks, and everything else that every vessel must require to be on the waters within the United States. I don't feel like those are being met out there. I don't think that anybody's really checking to see if those vessels are pumping out, or if they do meet all the safety criteria that those vessels should be meeting to be on the waters. And I think is that part of your question?
Well, it's part of my question, and part of my concern is that I'm not sure it falls within our purview to police that in all those ways. To me, is a Coast Guard and or a law enforcement thing.
You are correct, sir. The reason that we go out there is in response to the residents' complaints.
Okay.
And trying to stem the complaints that are coming from the residents that live on the water. And then we take those complaints to those agencies there, whether it be Coast Guard or the enforcement branch that we do have access to.
I might suggest then that when you get those complaints, rather than you forwarding that to the Coast Guard, that you tell the person they should call the Coast Guard and or the Sheriff's Department or whomever.
Will be noted, sir.
Thank you.
Mike?
Oh, nothing.
I had a question about this, Excel that we got, having the daily, weekly, monthly numbers. And I realized Chelsea said it came from Matanzas, but they don't really make a lot of sense to me.
Let me kind of dive into why I asked for this.
Okay.
In reviewing the in-house opportunity and trying to delve even further into the numbers and crunch those a little bit further than the preliminary ones we gave you in November, one of the things was looking at the current fees and at what we have the most of, monthly, weekly, daily. So I asked Matanzas for a fiscal year's worth of information, and this is what was provided. Now, mind you, moving forward, Aqua will be able to, I can run the report like that and get it instantaneously. But as you can see, I wanted to show you what I was given, and that way you can chew on it yourself. If we have questions about it, I can note those questions and go to Matanzas.
It's confusing.
It's
How do we have
confusing.
100? Yeah, how do we have 100?
What does
How
it
do we
mean?
have 101 monthly when we have 70 balls? That's what I'm trying to get my head around that.
I only thought, and I haven't confirmed or followed up with Matanzas regarding that, was perhaps at the time a monthly contract ended mid-month and a new one started.
Well, that was the only thing I could kind of figure out with that,
But again, if you all have questions regarding this, again, this is just me providing information to you all. If you have questions regarding this, you can send them to me and I will follow up with Matanzas. But as we're reviewing everything mooring field related, this was another thing that came up, and trying just to see the occupancy, so.
This is not in place of the information that was promised us in the format that we can compare to past years.
Correct.
Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. We should ask when we will receive the promised income and occupancy data for the past months in a format that will allow us to compare previous performance. The present report was undecipherable, but apparently it's not even related to the question I have here. Expense data for the field, I guess, is not provided at this time.
I can tell you that our finance department is wrapping up year end and ramping up for audit. So I can relay the information and the request of this committee and see what you all, I don't know, did you guys meet the new finance director?
Yeah.
We do have a new finance director. His name's Walter Pierce. So I know he's busy up there trying to, get his head wrapped around things, but I can send the request of this committee, just so I'm clear with your ask, Ted, and please confirm this with the rest of the committee, is that you want the income and occupancy data to compare to years past and the expense data.
Continuing report monthly of the income and occupancy in the same format it was in, so that we can continue our, and if it's not going to be, then to set up a format that we will be able to follow in the future.
Well, the other thing I think that I have requested before as well was a fiscal year report, which we've wanted to have, and I realize we have a new person, so, but I would like to request the fiscal year report for.
Okay, I've got your inquiries, as long as that is what the entire committee is requesting, pass that along.
Chelsea, do you have an update on DACWA, how the implementation is going?
Oh, we had hurdles last month and this month. So, Matanzas staff did have additional training with TRIP. There were quite a few duplications of reservations, and there were some frustrations with some of the patrons. Thankfully, the patrons are very patient with us and understanding. You know, we did have some refunds because of double charges, things of that nature. We're still working out some kinks, which is understandable. I think the additional training, I haven't had a chance to touch base with Matanzas because I had some overlapping meetings, but we do have a monthly meeting with Matanzas, Austin, and myself, and I'm hoping that the training helped. I did log in yesterday and see some other just minor things that need to be cleaned up in the system for auditing purposes, but I think for the most part, I'm seeing messages come in. I just saw a message yesterday inquiring of a group of 8 vessels wanting to come in sometime in January. So I think just being on the DACWA platform is given us, a step up advertising-wise than per se in years past. So that is promising. Austin can speak to what he's actually seeing in the field, but the DACWA side of it, I'm hearing both good and bad, which is good because it's a learning experience. And we want to make this as user-friendly as possible. So,
You're getting good support from them?
From DACWA, absolutely. So.
Well, I guess this is the 3rd month that we've done it. With us, we did the 1 month, and then it's now the 2nd month, which would have been November. It's set up on an ongoing thing. And I didn't write it down, but I should have. But at the essentially, we got the reminder that our credit card was going to be charged in December. And then when December 1 came, I think I got a flurry of like 6 emails.
Well, and that's been another issue, is there's been a lot of redundancy when it comes to emails. And so I don't have a reservation or like an account with them. So if you're getting bombarded with emails, let me know, because even with DACWA, they're trying to figure out with us as a mooring field, not their normal client.
I kept them all, and
Okay.
I'll send you what they were, but some of them were very redundant.
Well, and we don't want to be annoying. So
well, it's good to have the reminder, and it's also good the first of the month, I think, to have them say they charge your credit card. So, 2 maybe is good, but I think I got 6 or 7.
Okay.
I should have written them down, but I'll send that to you, what I got, and we'll see what we get in January. Maybe it's sort of taken care of itself.
I know that they've been doing a lot of cleanup here in the last 2
because
weeks.
the first 2 months we got a few, but not really that redundant of them.
So I do have another somewhat of a bigger issue that was brought to my attention. The new finance director, you get a fresh set of eyes on things, right? So you have a new perspective coming in. Speaking to this new finance director and the town attorney, we should be collecting sales tax on all of these moorings. My knowledge that has not been done because of.
It was.
then it wasn't.
and then it wasn't. And the reason it wasn't was,
At the time, we were told that you don't have to,
by,
our finance director. So what we're doing is, as of the 312 a month, 108.18 will not change. Okay, we're gonna revert back. The tax will be reduced, which in turn will reduce the revenues, both the town and Matanzas. And our finance, I had a meeting with them 2 weeks ago, our finance director and assistant director, and they're supposed to be preparing a letter to Matanzas to notify them of the change as of January 1, 2021. TRIP with DACWA has already been notified. It's a very simple click of a button. They change the formula in their system. Not a big deal for implementation, but just like I said, the revenue side of things will change because that sales tax will be taken off the top.
Sam, for the record, are we gonna be able to retroactively go back and pay that sales tax and ask to be excused of penalty and interest?
That is a finance director decision that I don't know what they're doing about.
I suggest that we formulate some kind of narrative to ask for excuse from penalty and interest, which might actually be more than the sales tax is.
Well, I know that he's trying to resolve the matter, so, and working with the town attorney, making that happen.
how many years have we not, it's been 2 or 3.
Yeah. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention. Again, the end user isn't gonna feel that, then it'll just, like I said, it'll be taken off the top. So, everybody in the loop.
I think that's kind of what we did the other way around, was when
Just be
we
described
didn't
as-
do it, we kept the rate the same. So,
Just described as tax included.
So, of course, fee schedule will have to be updated, which will probably be sometime in January. Like I said, the new finance director is trying to get his head wrapped around things, and this is, again, fresh set of eyes, one thing that we're working to address. It's not just, I mean, they're looking at everything town-related, parking, table rental, parking space rental, everything. So, but this one was a quick, easy resolution, get with DACWA, make the change, make it happen.
I have a question. So in 21, going forward, fee schedule will be for the sales tax, but charge will include tax.
So the only thing that'll change is the verbiage in the fee schedule. So we'll say 312 including tax. So the tax will be deducted from the 312. So the fee, the end user is not going to see an increase. Number will not change. Just the revenue, our split with Matanzas will change. It'll go down.
anything else in Mooringfield and staff report?
I just asked, what does this occupancy by month mean? Does one include the other, or I can't quite figure out. Could you explain what those 3 categories include?
The daily, weekly, or monthly rates, and if we had somebody paying that rate.
So you add those 3 up.
Killing it.
I don't understand.
Again, this was the information I received from Matanzas. I don't have.
The daily and weekly are included in the monthly. Is that what I'm hearing?
No. We have 3 different rates. You can either pay a daily, a weekly, or a monthly rate. So we had 21 people, different people come in and pay a daily rate. We had 2 different people pay a weekly rate in that month, and we had 50 people pay the monthly rate in that month.
So on the daily, when it says, let's go down to February, it says 63, that could be just 2 balls being rented for the entire month on a daily basis.
Honestly,
Doesn't make sense to you either.
yes.
Okay.
Well, and I was trying to figure out, because somewhere in February, March, April, you changed over to everybody that was there monthly continuously, that we all paid on the first of the month instead of at different times. I don't remember when we changed that. But it's still, as you said, you could have somebody come in the middle of the month on the same ball, and both of them had paid a monthly rate.
Yeah.
So you could theoretically have two different monthly rates on the same ball. Different patrons is what I'm saying, a month, which is why, that's gotta be the reason why we have 101
Yeah, it's
there.
gotta be.
Well, again, moving forward with DACWA, hopefully it'll be a little bit cleaner.
Anything else?
Not on that item.
Or anything else on mooring field and staff report? Expansion of the mooring field update, we don't have, do we have anything
We're
going?
still pending, so we're still pending DEP permit, and we're waiting for that, basically.
Any questions, anything? And service provider update,
So I've provided two pieces of paper to you today. One is the numbers that you guys saw in November.
Right.
Then the other one, it says at the top, updated in-house budget. We've had the last month and a half or so to fine tune the numbers that you were originally provided in November. The updated in-house budget we'll be presenting both of these to town council in January with the mooring field discussion item. But I wanted you all to see the numbers of the updated in-house budget prior to council seeing that. So that, have questions, Ted? I know you
Yeah,
do.
where'd the $223,000 go to
So
build out?
Okay, so if you look at letter D in the updated in-house budget, it says Harbor House acquisition and build out. Then if you look at the note below, it says buyout is $390 and the build out is $223. So together, the total of those is $613,500. And if you do that on a 30-year mortgage at 3%,
You put it in the build up into the mortgage.
yes.
Thank you.
I did go to council, a week and a half ago, with our motion. And so what you're saying now, then, is that you're meeting with council the first week in January?
I don't know if, I gotta look and see if this was scheduled for an M&P or if it was scheduled for a regular town council meeting. If it's scheduled for the M&P, then there's no public comment. But it may behoove someone from this committee to be present in the event council does have questions. But this will be going in January. And I did get word from the HOA that they asked for an update. I provided the update and they said, the unit may not be available. And I said, understood. But we go at council's pace. They set the pace and they make the decisions. So I can provide as much information as possible, but they're the final decision maker.
The early first week, early?
I will let you know. The meetings are odd in January because of MLK Day, I believe. I think that's the 17th. So they're off a little bit. And I think the M&P is later in the month, but I'll find out and let you know. I can send an email to the whole committee.
And Sam, for the record, thanks for going to the meeting, Kathy, and thanks, Rexanne, for bringing up and following up on the rules and regulation. I think you emphasized that. That was one of the things we wanted to emphasize, so thanks for bringing that up to all the other town council members.
Oh, well, same as mentioning that, thank you, by the way, for noticing. I also had mention at the meeting from people who are interested in moving forward the Bay Oaks project that there would be additional money available because we were no longer building the building at the Bay Oaks Park. I immediately jumped on and indicated that that money
Bayfront.
wasn't theirs to take because
Bayfront Park, you mean?
Bayside.
Bayside Park.
Yeah.
I let them know that that money wasn't available for Bay Oaks to use because we still had plans and were exploring other options. But it's something that you all should listen for. The Bay Oaks people are very aggressive. Passionate and aggressive in wanting to spend more and more money on Bay Oaks. So that you know that they were eyeing money that we were hoping to use.
And also, I did get, and I've, Experian Smith has emailed on countless occasions. He's more than willing to work with us, help out in any way, provide comments, ideas. I want to make note that they're very cooperative, and anything that we need or I need, he's made that very clear that he's there by our side and to support whatever decision council makes. So.
And for the record, on that note, if we do the Harbor House, we are going to need some dockage for the boats. So that's one of the things maybe we could work with them on, would possibly be keeping our dockage over there. I don't know if Austin had any ideas on that, or just waiting to see how things move forward with Harbor House.
That decision will come at a later date, but definitely something to keep in the back of our minds.
Maybe this would be a time to bring it up that there's been a suggestion that if we had a lift or something on Virginia Street that might not interfere with the neighborhood, that might be an option for the boat. I don't know whether it'd be too far away for your use or not, but there's the property there, and this was mentioned to me, and I just wonder if that's something to investigate.
Well, that is on Virginia. That is, right of way down there. I can tell you the seawall's pretty rough. So anything that would be done there that seawall would need some improvements. But that's definitely something that can be looked into. Grant opportunities, funding opportunities, things of that nature. I can tell you it's a lot easier to get a grant if you've already got plans in place, shovel-ready plans. So perhaps that's something. Kathy, I'm not sure if you're privy, but there has been some discussions about council having joint sessions with the chairs of all of the committees. So perhaps that's something to bring up.
I haven't heard that.
Or I think they're trying to schedule it sometime early next year with the chair of every committee coming in. Correct me if I'm wrong, Roxanne, but trying to schedule it early 2021. And just kind of get an update as to where every committee stands, what they're working on, things like that. But that may be the opportunity, maybe the opportune time to bring up that idea, Ted.
And prior to that time, there wouldn't be any option to investigate it a little bit, or does that investigation start after they suggest?
I mean, we can always, staff-wise, we can always do our homework on it, but we have to get, if there's funding costs and design and grant pursuing, council has to give the go-ahead.
Well, maybe we just keep it at the back of our mind if it seems to be an option and investigate it at that time. But
absolutely.
It's just something. Thank you.
Would this meeting be with all the chairs at the same time?
I believe so, yes.
I will
Chelsea,
make a note of that.
this is, you made an aside about the, I want to be sure I understood and not misunderstood, about the unit at Harbor House possibly not always being available. Do we have a time frame on that?
It's for sale.
It's for sale, and I can tell you that the unit that Matanzas owns has a sign up there for lease right now. So, I mean, there's been no confirmation from the town that we are absolutely going to delve into it. So, it's just kind of been heard, and that's why the mooring field discussion is going to go in January. To try to get some decision, albeit yes or no. to keep dragging anybody along, this committee included.
Well, I don't think we have we don't have a say as to where this comes up before council, whether it's the MMP or not, but I would like it to be sooner than later but we don't have any say in that, so whenever they decide to listen to it,
Non-council meetings are January 11th and January 19th. And then the management and planning meeting is January 21st. I would suggest that if you want it considered sooner rather than later, that you email the mayor, because he has some input over the agenda.
okay, it will do. I mean, is it?
Not just the chair, the rest of the committee.
Is it better to do it at the MMP, or it doesn't really matter?
I don't think that it really matters.
Okay.
MNP, so at the MNP, consensus can be made, but like actual
You
true
can't actually
decisions,
make the decision in that meeting.
correct.
So it would have to go later even than that. But if we would have it at a meeting, you could make the decision in that meeting.
It would be
am I-
possible.
It would be,
I understand, but I
Yes.
mean, you can, but in the other one, you can't.
Correct.
Right. So noted.
Has it been impressed upon the town council of the urgency of this issue?
I believe, Kathy, correct me if I'm wrong, that you did notify them at the meeting you presented the last go-around, and I believe the town manager has made it clear that these are two privately owned units by two different entities.
And they are for sale to the general public,
Yes.
or for lease.
I can tell you, though, I didn't feel any sense of urgency among the other council members. So you may want to contact them.
I will put a sense of urgency in my email.
And I'm not just saying this to you, Kathy.
No, understood.
Yes.
Maybe you can, Roxanne, also, bring it, when it comes up during council.
Well, there isn't a council meeting
There's no council meeting until the
the 11th.
11th.
January, yeah. When it
That's
comes
when
to
we'd like
January.
it to be presented. So that means we need to email our council. Okay. Anything further on that? And I put down about the lift, so that might be something we can explore. Strategic plan review, communication plan. I think maybe we discussed this last time too, that I think we're kind of a little bit on hold on some of that with trying to figure out where we're going with.
We're doing our homework, some due diligence on the back end, Randy, myself, and Austin. Really, I think the big push regarding like the communication is we're making some minor updates. Austin had a great idea the other day with the pump out request form on the website. He had some minor tweaks that would help facilitate him in the field, like which side of the vessel is the tank on, approximately how many gallons. So we're doing minor things like that to try to help better the customer experience. And I told Public Safety Committee this yesterday, but one of the beauties of having social media platforms and pushing out posts and things of that nature is any can measure those and see how many people they reached and seeing what abroad we can go. We are working on updating social media, updating the signage with the new brand, minor things like that. But like you said, it's kind of in limbo until a decision is made, but we are doing some homework for the other things that might be able to tackle sooner than later.
Kathy, if I could tack on to what Chelsea mentioned there, I don't know if any of you on the committee are on Facebook or not, but the Matanzas Pass Cruisers have a Facebook page and post things regularly that are of interest to them. So if you want to know, take the temperature of what's going on out there, follow their page, you'll get their posts.
The town is part of that group. I think it's a group on Facebook. So, you know, we keep an eye on and seeing what's going out there. I think somebody just started up the cruisers net again. But, you know, trying to just stay in tune with what the end users are testing.
And are we gonna discuss rates, or we're gonna go ahead and just put that into next year possibly?
I think we decided, or we talked
Save
about
some.
waiting to see what happens with
Right, with our onshore.
with the upland service provider, and then go forward with that. Because, as Chelsea has said, we can change it today, and it would go in effect next month. I mean, if we decided to do that. It's not like we have to, with DACWA in any. Anything further on the strategic plan? Okay, members' items and reports. Mike?
Nothing?
Yes. I did have one. I was hoping Roger would show up, but he didn't. And that's okay. Just tell you my thoughts briefly. We had our meeting November 18th on a Wednesday. Following Tuesday, there was a COVID outbreak in Town Hall. Nobody's fault. Wednesday, the building was sanitized, I believe. I saw that in the Observer. I think everybody else might have seen that in the Observer or heard it through the grapevine. So I called Roger, and on behalf of all of us, and I thought that it would have been appropriate that he would have sent out a mass email. And he's not here to respond, but I just wanted, our conversation went to the effect that it was in a different area of Town Hall and there's nothing to worry about. However, it's my understanding that the entire Town Hall was disinfected. But I was just a little upset. I thought, as a courtesy, that he should have sent out an email to everyone he knew, was maybe just an email to everybody that was on committees or that came to town hall meetings that they knew of. And that's it. I just thought it was would have been a courtesy for him to do that. Doesn't have anything to do with wearing masks, not wearing masks. But I know that he's all over the building, and he was adamant about there's no way it ever could have got into this section of the building. So I was hoping to ask him a couple questions about it, but I'll do it through an email. That's it for me.
I don't have anything. Ted?
Nothing, I'm good.
I did, oh gosh, our emails were down a week, so bear with me. I think I sent you all an email about, I sent you an email about changing the date in January. Okay. I know with public safety I had to move them around, but let me confirm that your date and time is still valid for January. If it's not, I'll let you guys know today. I'll send an email out right after this meeting, because I know with that Monday being off, council was moved to that Tuesday, which affected public safety, but I don't know if everybody else got moved. So let me follow up and get back to you all.
The 19th of January is a Tuesday.
Yeah, the 20th
So
would
the
be our
20th is
meeting.
the Wednesday.
I'll send an email confirming your date and time for your January meeting.
And I suggest if we do have to change it, that rather than changing it to later in the day, because we might be having some traffic, that we keep it at the 9 o'clock if that's good for anybody. If
It's
we
my
have to change
preference.
it. Yeah. So everybody can
Currently,
get.
nothing on the calendar for the 20th on the website.
Okay. I'll follow up with you all today, by the end of today.
Well, and hopefully, if we can get on the agenda for the 11th, it would, or the 19th even, I guess it would be better on the 11th for that, but then we'd have maybe something to together on that meeting, I hope. So, I guess an email blast is what's needed for that, I guess. Is there public comment at this time? No. Yes? Okay.
A couple of. I had my festival over in Fort Lauderdale. They always tack the sales. That's not. Personally, fine. I'm not getting a wrap. Only if I get aqua deal. What that tells. They'll do your.
Thank you, and thanks for being at our meeting. We appreciate folks coming and commenting. Okay, so I guess same agenda in January, and hopefully we'll have some information about different things, so.
Pam Lurie, I move to adjourn.
Home second.
Okay, all in favor? Wow.
Aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you all. Have a happy holiday.
You too.
Record.
Give me a call.
Well, we don't have a ton,
We had to do.
we don't have a ton of stuff, but we all have some homework.
Yeah,
So we'll
gotta
get